In the vast expanse of the Galactic Federation, where stars whispered secrets and planets danced in eternal harmony, the alien court of Zorath Prime was a spectacle of opulence and judgment. Towering spires of crystalline architecture pierced the violet skies, and the air hummed with the telepathic murmurs of 1,000 species. It was here, in this grand hall of interstellar diplomacy, that Captain Elias Thorne, a rugged human explorer from the distant colony of Terra Nova, stood as the unlikely groom. His bride-to-be was Princess Lyra Voss, a luminous being from the ethereal race of the Elorians whose skin shimmered like moonlight on water and whose eyes held a depth of nebula. Elias had never imagined his life leading to this moment. Born on a frontier world where survival meant outwitting sandstorms and scavenging for scraps, he had risen through the ranks of the human exploratory fleet with sheer grit and an unyielding spirit. His name evoked tales of daring rescues and bold negotiations, but love, that was a frontier he had never charted until he met Lyra during a tense border dispute. She was no fragile flower. Her people were known for their psychic prowess and graceful dominance over lesser races. Yet, in Elias, she saw a fire that matched her own raw, untamed energy that defied the cold logic of her court. The wedding was meant to seal an alliance between humanity and the Elorians, bridging the chasm between the barbaric humans and the enlightened aliens. But as Elias stood before the assembled council, clad in a simple earth-tailored suit that clashed with the flowing robes of the extraterrestrial nobility, laughter rippled through the chamber like a mocking wave. The Zorathians, with their elongated necks and iridescent scales, chittered in amusement. The bulbous-headed Quarrens bubbled with derisive gurgles, and even the stoic Vaxori, with their armored exoskeletons, emitted low, rumbling chuckles. "Look at the primitive," sneered Lord Kelix, the Elorian High Chancellor, his voice echoing through the hall's amplifiers. "A human, daring to wed our princess. He brings no psychic gifts, no ancient lineage. What does he offer but brute force and fleeting lifespan? This union is a farce." Lyra stood beside Elias, her hand lightly touching his arm, but her expression remained composed, a mask of royal poise. She had chosen him, not for politics alone, but for the way his stories of Earth's oceans and mountains stirred her soul. In a galaxy where emotions were often suppressed by telepathic bonds, Elias's passion was a storm she craved. Yet as the laughter swelled, doubt flickered in her violet eyes. The court demanded a trial of Wurtinessa ancient ritual, where the groom must prove his mettle against the Federation's champions. Failure meant exile, or worse, dissolution of the alliance. Elias felt the weight of 1,000 stares, but he squared his shoulders, his jaw set in that stubborn human way. "Laugh all you want," he muttered under his breath, his voice a low growl that only Lyra could hear. "You've never seen what a cornered human can do." The trial began in the arena below the court, a colossal dome where holographic barriers shifted, like living shadows. The first challenger was a Zorathian warrior, a lithe creature with tentacles that whipped faster than light. It lunged at Elias, its psychic assault probing his mind like icy needles. The court erupted in cheers, expecting the human to crumple. But Elias dodged with the agility honed from years evading asteroid fields. He countered with a precise strike, his fist connecting with the creature's core, sending it sprawling. Gasps replaced the laughter, but Lord Kelix dismissed it as luck. Next came a Quarren behemoth, its gelatinous form absorbing blows like water. It enveloped Elias, suffocating him in a viscous embrace. The audience hooted, predicting his end. Yet, Elias remembered the survival drills on Terra Nova: adapt or die. He reached into his boot, pulling a concealed vibro knife, a human invention frowned upon in these civilized proceedings. With a swift slash, he pierced the Quarren's membrane, freeing himself in a spray of fluid. The court murmured in unease, but the mockery persisted. "Tricks of a savage," they cried. Lyra watched from the royal balcony, her heart torn between pride and fear. She had warned Elias of the court's prejudices. Humans were seen as relics, aggressive upstarts who had only recently joined the Federation after repelling an invasion with their crude weaponry. But Elias had insisted, "I won't hide who I am, Lyra. That's what makes us strong." The final challenger was the most formidable, a Vesheri colossus, armored in impenetrable chitin and wielding energy blades that could slice through starship hulls. It charged with thunderous steps, its roars shaking the dome. Elias, battered and bruised, evaded the first swings, but the Vexary's blade grazed his side, drawing blood. The court exploded in triumphant laughter. "See? The human breaks." Elias staggered, pain lancing through him like fire. Memories flooded his mind of his family's farm destroyed by alien raiders, of comrades lost in border wars, of Lyra's gentle touch that had healed his weary soul. He glanced up at her, seeing the anguish in her eyes. No more. Humanity wasn't a joke. It was a force that had clawed its way from a single blue planet to the stars. With a defiant roar, Elias reached for his hip, drawing the one thing he had kept hidden, an antique Earth revolver, passed down from his grandfather, loaded with kinetic slugs that no psychic shield could fully deflect. The court fell silent for a heartbeat, then burst into hysterical laughter. "A relic, a toy from the Stone Age," Lord Kellex bellowed. "What will you do, human? Wave it like a flag." But Elias wasn't waving. He raised the gun, his aim steady despite the blood loss. The Vexary paused, sensing something primal in the human's gazer. Predators calm before the kill. Elias fired. The shot echoed like thunder. In the dome, the slug piercing the Vexary's armor at a weak joint, shattering chitin and dropping the giant to its knees. The court gasped, laughter dying in their throats. Chaos ensued. Guards swarmed, psychic fields flaring to subdue him. But Elias fired again, not at them, but at the holographic barrier controls overhead, short-circuiting the arena's defenses. Alarms blared as the dome flickered. "This isn't barbarism," Elias shouted, his voice cutting through the pandemonium. "This is humanity. We don't bend to your rules. We make our own when yours fail us." Lyra leaped from the balcony, her psychic aura enveloping Elias, shielding him from the oncoming enforcers. "Enough," she commanded, her voice amplified by her power. "He has proven his worth not by your standards, but by the fire that burns in all of us. Laugh at humans if you dare, but remember, we survived extinction events, crossed voids you feared, and now we claim our place among you." The court fell into stunned silence. Lord Kellex, his arrogance shattered, bowed his head. The alliance was sealed, not in mockery, but in awe. Elias holstered his gun, pulling Lyra into an embrace that transcended species. In that moment, the galaxy shifted. Humans were no longer the punchline, but the heroes of their own epic. As the stars wheeled overhead, Elias and Lyra walked hand in hand from the court, their union a beacon of unity. But Elias knew the real victory wasn't the trial it was showing. The universe, that humanity's greatest weapon, wasn't a gun, but the unbreakable will behind it. And in Lyra's eyes, he saw a future where love conquered even the stars.